This is a special interview, and we have with us a top-notch security personnel. He started a career from Liberia as security personnel, working in various sectors of the security sector of our country. Worked with the Liberian National Police, NSA, SSS, and all of those. He was opportune to have left the country to the United States of America, where he served at the United Nations representing Liberia's interests in security. He left and then went out to do private job, never certified. He pursued his career as a homeland security in the United States, getting several degrees. Today, he has come back to Liberia to contribute to our sector, not just the security sector, but every sector of our country, given his vast experience in not just security, but also other sector of our country. Mr. Jerry Barcon, a Liberian who has served so diligently in and outside of our country, is now with us in this interview. Mr. Barcon, welcome to this interview, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You have been so much, you have so much dedicated yourself to security, with vast knowledge, not just in Liberia, but outside of Liberia, and both in the United States of America. Also work with the United Nations on some security matter representing the interests of our country. Mr. Jerry, could you just talk about yourself a little bit before we go in depth into what we see?
Well, my name is Jerry Manuel Barcon, original from Liberian, Lower Lima County. Started my career as a 19, 20 years old, right from the Liberian National Police Academy. At that time, we were called National Public Safety Institute. Like it's articulated. I worked with the Liberian National Police. They transferred me to SS. I went to SS. I traveled for national security. I worked there. Then I was the coordinator for the 1986 election as the chief security for the National Election Commission was second. Then I was fortunate, so one of those that were selected at a time the previous government in 1986 or in the 80s wanted a security person to be assigned to the industrial country. One of those I was opportune to go at the United Nations where I worked from 1986 to 1990 before the Civil War started. Then after the Civil War, I left. I left the foreign. I went to school. I started my school. I went to CCRI in Rhode Island, where I got my first associate degree in criminal estate, criminal crime scene investigation. Then I went to Roger Williams University, where I got a double master, a double master, double degree, one in criminal justice and one in public administration. And after 9/11, there was an institution that was established, Homeland Security, and I had the opportunity to go and get a 3 masters in Homeland Security, cybercrime, U.S. intelligence analysis, and leadership. And currently, I also work with Liberian Public Radio as a security analyst in the United States. And I mean, I'm blessed. A child from William whereby he wanted to tow 10 bucket meal he back from from the village to be able to go to the state and be able to teach. In fact, to be honest with you, I just received one of the prestigious awards first in Liberia, in Liberian community, the African criminal justice system in Ghana. I was recognized. There was academia. I studied I've been doing some writing on securities and crime scene and all these things. I've been writing some things and then using it. And our award, that certificate was a B program in Ghana. So I'm here and at home to see what best I can contribute the little knowledge that I have.
So you flew from the United States of Ghana to receive your certificate.
No, I was not able to go to Ghana, but somebody received it for me.
Okay,
Because of my assignment, I couldn't go to Ghana. But I had the certificate here and I received it.
Okay. Thank you for those narrative. We think you have a vast experience in the security sector of country. I don't want to say we have a weak security sector, but I think there are a lot of gaps that need to be filled. and those gaps require people with vast knowledge to help out the security sector of our country. You have been in the United States working with a lot of international organizations. Can you give your own perspective of our security sector first before we can go in depth? Can you give your reading? I guess you've been following some of the issue in Liberia regarding how security works and regarding some of the gaps, some of the opening of in the sector. Can you give your own analysis of the sector first?
Thank you. Uh, like I said, I work with the Liberian Public Radio. I'm a security analyst, and some of the things that unfold in Liberia, we always have to address the issues. Let's look at the current events right now that are happening in Liberia. The burning of the Capitol building. Is I have recommended, or it's a domestic terrorism. These are the reasons I will go into depth. Why make it domestic terrorism? Because terrorism is not an act that happened. It's a somebody entitled to sabotage the government who want to get credit up to this time. But here's the thing I want to say. That's one of the recommendations I made for the first time. My first recommendation was the Capitol building need to have our own police department. That would prevent, I have said it, I have written an article, you can go read it, the role of national security. You can Google me now, put that Jerry Barcon, or African.com, put Jerry Barcon, you will see that. I have met with the senators and said, listen, I forecasted this is going to happen. What we need is the Capitol Police need to have our own Capitol Police that will be able to secure that building 24/7, 365 days.
So, I mean, the composition of that should be like the city police.
No, definitely for that Capitol Police.
Yeah, what I'm saying, the composition should it be like the city police, even though it will be an independent, already on the canopy of the lawmakers.
Yeah.
But they should have a composition.
Thank you. What we do is predicated on the establishment of law.
Okay.
The legislature have that power to establish. If you go back to, let's go to the Liberian National Police. The Liberian National Police is less than what? 1956. That's what for the now on government administration. Okay. Then we'll call the security. Well, after 9/11, the United States government told us why that we need to have a national homeland security, and today it's a professional. We all studied on homeland security. Homeland security composed of the national security, the Coast Guard, the various border patrol. There's a lot of elements that fall under the homeland security. So when you study the homeland security, you can work with any institution like the Minister of Health, because there are crashes that are going to happen.
Okay.
So there are a lot of institutions that you got a lot of latitude to work with. Any institution. The only institution that I can work with finance based upon intelligence. But any other government agencies, I can work with them. But this is what I want to say. If we do this thing, but now we are going digital. Okay? Now, 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we don't have mobile transfer. Cybercrime is one of the fastest growing institutions in the world right now. Do we have a legislature? Pornography. People use the internet. So these things we need a legislature for us to be able to prosecute the individuals who will do the perpetrator, and would have the legislature. Our Bengal need to be trained when it comes to cybercrime.
But these are debate that on the national scene, and so I'm gonna drive those debates so that policymakers can understand some of those issues. Because perhaps people are not grasping the changing time in technology.
Yeah, that's my point. Because the legislature need to be brief and small who have the experience. We have been allowed to say, look, Mr. Senator or Madam Senator, if we do this thing, I was here I think a couple of years ago, and GFK was going to go on strike. I think if you can recall.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of people from the high government. I said, look, are we prepared if the government, the, GFK to go on strike tomorrow? What is the preparation of our government on the national security? What the preparation? And I made some recommendations to certain high people that anyway they fall on the wrong side. So somehow we are very and we are very worried about it. The institution that somehow we came from Liberia and we are very opportune to learn and people listening to us. Like I just said, I'm winning the war. First Liberian person to win a war in Africa, for Africans to put together and say one person to say, yeah, this is. So we have been recognized. I'm happy that it's not about me, but it brings proud to the Liberian people that somebody from Liberia will win such a great war.
Someone watching you now may be wondering. You have just equated the situation at the Capitol building to as a domestic terrorism or terrorism as a whole.
Domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism.
So,
Domestic terrorism.
yeah,
That's
so
what I said.
how do you convince someone watching you
But
that
you see,
to understand that what you are saying actually drives the truth?
but say evidence is there. Okay, let me go back. Let's look at something. November, during the runoff election.
Mhm.
Look what happened on Broad Street. Somebody
Mhm.
drove a car and the people got killed. Let's go to back to in the Western world. The scene 2023.
Even just some I think it's even just before the new year there was a run into people
Okay.
yeah, people.
What
Yeah.
happened 2022 in France? Somebody plotted that killed 82 or 86 people. Okay. You see, history is on our side. 1992. Hmm?
Mhm.
The those that used the airplane to 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 attack the World Trade Center that killed about almost 3,000 some more people. The first time it happened was 1992. The Sheikh Mohammed. They arrested him. He went under the bomb, under the World Trade Center. He carried a car there. The car did not explode. And they arrested him. You know what he said? When I come back, the building will not stand. And what they used aircraft. Okay, so terrorism is not something that we will take lightly. It's a growing institution. Let's look at our youth today in our country. Most of them are disadvantaged. Okay, and some of these things somebody contribute to some of these things because where there's high unemployment rate, the potential is there for somebody to find refuge in alcohol, drugs, and all these things. Look how we talk about the Zogo today. I mean, I don't like the word, the music word circle.
God, I wish you.
Okay, so I don't like that word circle, but that's what had you been labor. Labor theory also contribute. Psychology teaches us,
Mhm.
labor theory. It is not because they say all the men are so for that reason. They have been ostracizing our community. And it's about time for us to start thinking in the 21st century. You know, we are going what? 23 years or 25 years after the Civil War. Okay? If you can follow me,
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying. 25 years
yeah,
into
absolutely.
the three-quarter of our century, we are going 25 years
Yeah.
into ours after the Civil War. So we are still fresh. And there's an opportunity, there's a means for us to put our the only way country can function, economy, agriculture, all these things, if the security is strong, the country, that nation survive.
Some may be wondering, right? Security people the uniform method carrying arm. But could you just make it more
them Liberian. They're helping. Thank you. They had a profession. They work within Liberia here who have been trained. So if they train our people, the woman who's selling for planting, if it's well been certified, with me with the criteria of international security, will benefit from it. So security is not just to say, oh yeah, because they wear uniform, they do this. No, 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 no. There are a lot of implications of our security.
What about youth unemployment?
That's what I'm saying. Because the youth employment, the youth
Because I
unemployment.
was in Gambia during the days of Yaya Jammeh. Most of the investment were in the young people developing their skills, their potential. Like it was one. You found out that most of the young people they put into cluster, and then once you have when you have this knowledge, if you are a content, they put it into cluster, and then develop your skills, put some money there, and then monitor what you do. If you're agricultural, they do similar things with you. So in that way, you see the youth start to expand, do their own employment, all of those. So how do we reach those marks?
There's something called community integration. Let's go back to the word, the Zobo word, right? I will find a different word for it. The disadvantaged children, called community integration. How do we bring these people back into the community? I mean, I might applaud the senator or Senator Taylor, what you do. But these people, if they go through the steps that they are going through, I've been following him, they go through their steps and they are being rehabbed. But the question here is, how do we put them back into the community, integrate them into the community? You cannot just integrate them into the community and there's no opportunity because you see, for you to it's a day-to-day operation because sooner or later somebody will, convince you because you try to get out of the drugs, alcohol, drugs abuse, and all that. But if there's opportunity is there for that individual to be able to go to work, it doesn't guarantee that the possibility is going to completely be over, but the potential is always there. But at least that person is working. Statistics teachers, we can look at criminology. It says that where there's high unemployment rate, there's community violence, there's high prostitution, there's high and yeah,
Gangsterism.
thank you. I wrote an article called "Human Trafficking in Liberia," and these are the things that bring some of this misfortune. And let me put this:
And what was the actual center topic of that article? Human
the
trafficking.
article "Human Trafficking" is because people are disadvantaged. People come here and tell you, say, "Oh, let a child can stay with me."
Vulnerability.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are some of the things that trigger these human trafficking. Or I'm going to come here and say, I don't try to be stereotype, but as a criminology, we always try to stereotype people.
Yeah, because you want to be exact of what you
So
say.
let's take, for example, people who can do business in our country. They will come to you and say, look, I'm carrying 5 or 10 people to Lebanon, India, but these are the people who do businesses in our country right now. And unfortunately, when they leave from here, they go to the place. The interpretation that they have or they have at a time and say, yeah, they want to give you work. And when they go there, that's not what they promised them. They treat them to be a sex slave, domestic abuse, sexually abuse. I think probably if you can recall, um, Costa did a show on, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, that people were out of the country who went to, I think, Lebanon, so these are some of the things. How can we pull our youth together in this country? And these are the future of our country. So the security is not just a problem security. We talk about community policing. Community policing is not always. Let me say this. One of the things we as a law enforcement officer, we need to work with organizations like the Council of Churches, other Red Cross, because you see the interpretation of the police. There are certain places that we can't go because there's a disparity among the law enforcement and the citizen.
Yeah.
So we ask the churches or the church or whatever to mediate and say, look, we can take, for example, one of the neutral areas that we can't go. We need to work with us, the police department, and work with them. Look, let's take because they always talk.
So they will not take evangelism
Exactly.
as a means.
Yeah,
To,
yeah. So we work with the clergies and say, take the initiative to work with a group because the community is vulnerable and we got a lot of youth people and probably they don't trust us. And we have to have engagement, social program, after school program. How many of our children have to go to after school program? So that you know what, when you have these social program that also eliminates teenage pregnancy because our child come home by what? 2 o'clock, nobody's home. Guess what?
That's vulnerable.
Thank you. But if you have after school program, police job today is not just law enforcement anymore. We do babysitting. We are proactive.
So now you have graduated from just moving from one point to another, and then innovating, bringing more innovation to policing.
Yeah, that's what we do. Police now we gotta be proactive.
So if the police director, the IG, Gregory Coleman, were open to talk to you, what would be the first word you say?
So we gotta do community integration. Community integration is not just say we're going to go to the community, we stand there, have better rights, we eat and stuff like that. The community integration that I understand, you program, after school program, you have to work with the very legislature to provide. You have to go to the legislature and make a case. Because see anything that
a very comprehensive plan.
Yeah, you have to go to
convincing.
Yeah, you go to the legislature and say, look, we need $10 million for the entire Republic of Liberia. Not Republic, for Montserrat County. Montserrat, I think Montserrat got what, 15th district or 10th district? How many districts?
17th district.
17th district. Yeah. So the 17th district would need to reach out to the program because you see, the legislature they provide the finances. So you have to meet with them like what you do with me now. Sit down with the federal committee. You know, Mr. Chairman on Finance, Mr. Chairman on who, I always say who today. Mr. Chairman on
you are being dominated.
Mr. Chairman on law enforcement and intelligence, you know, meet with them and brief them.
That we need to take policing from one level to another level.
Now, right now, we say doing our full patrol. Session patrol is not even there. Let's look at our crime rate. If we are using bike to commit crime, if the statistics is right, then the police people need to have a bike.
Yeah. To
pursue. Because we cannot use a patrol car. Because what they do is, if somebody uses a bike to commit a crime right now, can you use a car? And whereby we don't have a street, that are open that you can go in these places. So you gotta find the tools that they are using to commit a crime. You see, let me say this. One of the things, the criminal are 10 steps, the police are always 9 steps behind. The criminal are 10 steps ahead of the police all the time. The crime is committed, then that's the time we found means to prevent that crime. By the time you prevent that crime, they already developed another strategy. So the criminal always have advantage.
But some of the information coming up from the community is that sometimes there are hardcore criminals in the community where they are more visible to the community. People know that they are there. Even the police know that they are there. But then the police doesn't move in until crime is being committed. So how do you reconcile this in your own professional career?
Good question. That's why we have to have the confidence of the community. We have to build our confidence. And they get us saying, if you see something, say something. Okay? If you see something, say something.
And prevent something.
Thank you. If you see something, say something. That is our saying from where I come from.
Okay.
We always ask the community, if you see something, say something. Because what you see, you will not think is relevant, it is relevant to us. Okay? Maybe you can, for the interview, the car you ride, it's not a car that in the neighborhood. If somebody see a strange car, they will call the police and say, oh, we see a strange car here today, or we see a strange person in the community. They will do a follow-up. So if you see something, say something. But yes, it seems to say something and see something. Yes, we have to trust the myth of the police that we don't trust the police. But we as a police officer, we have to create that trust that whatever you tell us, this is like when you dare ask a question. There are people who known within the community that criminal, of course. But the police cannot just arbitrarily just go there and arrest you. We must have a probable cause. That is the key of the police. But we can continue your question. You know, I mean, I believe that a
keep
lot.
surveillance. Keep.
They call it vagrancy. We can charge you for vagrancy.
No, I think.
We can charge you for vagrancy.
Yeah.
You can vagrancy, you can be charged.
Lottery.
Exactly. We can charge you for vagrancy. So the police got a lot of latitude that we can hold you. Sir, where you coming from? Where you going? Do you live in the community? If you have an ID card, can we verify where you say you're coming from? Maybe the discretion. Somebody there break into a city gas station ready or rehab here, and we say they may get a yellow shirt, blue shirt. Yeah? If it's a discretion, so the police stop you, sir. Where you coming from? Where you live? If you live in Ghana, what are you doing at this time? So the police got a lot of latitude to work with. But the question, my recommendation is that we that are in authority, especially the leadership, we have to love it to the legislature, to the house, because we cannot do anything without cash.
Yeah, but it requires a comprehensive plan because, like what you just articulating, right? The issue of community policing, going beyond just arresting criminal, but integrating people into society, transforming the life of young people. Those are issues that people look up to because once you transform the life of a lot of young people in the community, obviously there will be a drop in crime rate. So, with your vast experience, I guess you've been talking with some stakeholders in our country. Is there a plan to come up with a holistic approach where you yourself you will find a time to meet the police, not just the police director, or even other national security actors, discuss some of those issues to see how we can have a new dimension, a new trend in our policing in the country. Because let's take for example, you just said the issue of criminal using motorbikes to rob people and the security get vehicle to chase the police. I mean, that's a mismatch because before you get there, the guy is gone already. But when they have motorbike with the police and motorbike with the criminal, obviously it will be a running battle,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so how do we bring all of those into full? Because you cannot sit from the back and then just articulate all of those. You have to meet stakeholders. You have to engage. Are there plan from you to
Yeah.
engage with our national security actors so that we can have a new approach in how we solve some of those problems.
Of course, I'm anticipating. Hopefully, they will be willing. I will extend the invitation to them and say, look, I want to be with you. Here's my concern. Here's my expertise. I'm willing to make my contribution. And that's it. If they're not, I would, like you're doing right now, and we'll take it from there. But the question I want to make clear here is our security. It is important that we have a strong security. See, if we have a strong security,
What is strong security?
the strong security is the implementation. Let's take, for example, where I'm from in the United States. You can put your passport and put it right in front of the door and nobody will touch you. Look, you came to do the interview. You got a fence out about 8 feet, 12 feet. Eh?
Yes, yes, yeah.
No. Why we have incarcerating ourselves? But if we have the security, the system, okay, we have the security, but we have to put a system in place that we have to do this thing in ever for our community to survive. Here you are, when you're ready to go to bed. You got a double door,
Yeah,
triple door.
but sometimes also borders on the issue of uh, whistleblower protection because sometimes people in the community may have those information and want to give it to the security,
Mhm.
and sometimes information leak and the criminal is now hunting the person that gave the information. So how do we balance all of those to ensure that we push the issue of building a strong national security that will protect both the whistleblower, protect the criminal, protect the citizen at large? Because the protection of the criminal also borders on what led to you getting into criminality.
You see, now you bringing psychology in, which of course I will. Now you're bringing psychology in. But here's the thing:
Uh-huh.
when you talk about whistleblower, that's another level. Because see, whistleblower is somebody who work in the ministry, see something awesome and unwanted, and that person is a whistleblower and say, let's take for example in the hospital there's an abuse of client, right, or a patient. She or he feel that that patient has been abused, and she has seen it continuously. They have to go to they have the responsibility to go and report it to the high management and say this is what I see. It up management to not take appropriate action. Now they can go to the authority, which is the law enforcement department, and say, listen, this is what's going on a hospital, they are being neglected. But here, one of the things I recommend at one point, okay, one point is that anybody who graduated from the nursing school, there should be an introduction to tort law. Tort law is the wrongdoing of what you do. So if they teach the nurses tort law introduction, tort law, then you'll be responsible. Because I mean, anything you do, you will be arrested.
We heard liable for
Yeah,
that.
thank you. Tort law is to punish you for a wrongdoing. It's either two laws, tort law and criminal law. That's it. Eh? That's it.
Uh-huh.
You get a tort law. The tort law will say you have an accident, there's a penalty because you broke my phone, so you got to pay for it. The other criminal law is that you come in my house, you breaking my house, you deprive me of my property, so you got to be paid for it. And you got to be institutionalized, you got to be go to prison. So that's it. Criminal law and civil law. Period. That's it. Real estate law, yeah, it's a real estate law, but this is for honor the law. And here's my point I want to make today for our radio listeners. It's a teamwork. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
It's a teamwork. The police need a citizen. The citizen need the police. We have to work together.
How does it work effectively?
But it's trust. Anything we do is trust. Like you just asked, we have uh, about the whistleblower. If the whistleblower come to you and tell you, you have to protect that individual. Okay, except whereby it's necessary, then the judge can demand and say, okay, this is what we need. But for that time, the person gave you the information, there's a tape and that information, you work on that tape based upon the trust. But if they have the trust in our law enforcement,
Mhm.
it will work. We can do it. We are not, the people are not no different from you and myself.
So, you've been following the security system, especially the Liberian National Police that is responsible for internal or domestic security for the country. Sometimes people raise issue when there are violence taking place. Sometimes police officers are there and do not respond to the situation. I don't know what you have heard that. If you have heard that, what you think is responsible for that? And if you give your own perception or your own analysis of it, how do we solve those problems?
Great question. We as a citizen, it is your obligation. We have, it's our responsibility. You see, anytime there's a crime is committed, most of the crime have not been solved because as soon somebody die or there's an accident, there's a crowd run to the crime scene.
Or
And
police
I
take place?
beg you, those of those listening, keep it away until the police can come and do the investigation. There's something called crime contamination.
Mhm.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Crime contamination or transfer crime scene. So you go and step in the blood, you carry into the another blood, and the person comes from another side and step into that blood. So guess what? A complete mix up. Often what are happening in this country,
Mhm.
and we need to appeal our security people, need our police people, all our market women, all the other boys, we need to stop is when there's a crime is committed, leave it alone. Call the police, let them come there, but you go step on the scene. But let me give you another example. When the Capitol building got burned the other day,
Mhm.
I mean, everybody just rushed it.
The unmanned investigation.
Thank you. It diminish the integrity of investigation. Because let me go a little bit higher. If I was suspect
Mhm.
and my fingerprint matched because there was a gasoline in the crew in the container. Do you know how I was watching it last? Do you know how many percentage about that day?
So it has been contaminated.
Eh?
It has been contaminated. And unmanned
So
police
how?
investigation.
Thank you. So how do you determine who committed that crime? Okay, they
So,
say.
so from what I'm getting from you is that the police have not been successful in most of the investigation because of contamination.
Of course, our people we contaminated crime scene.
So what can you say to the Liberian people? Because people, I guess there are thousands of people following you now. What can you say to them from your own security background?
If you see something, don't not touch it. Eh?
Mm.
Do not touch it. Call the police. Let the police come and do the investigation. If there's a battle there, don't touch it. You gotta lay battle that you maintain. Maybe there's something ahead that will lead to discover that crime that is committed. The little thing that you might think it is not relevant, it is relevant to the investigation. So if you even see a battle or battles or snapper, eh? It's don't touch about a snapper. That snapper maybe somebody fingerprint on it, and that fingerprint might lead to the arrest or the conviction of that individual. So when you touch this thing, it's also it's repeat the investigation. You go step in the place, the footprint that they're supposed to and do the photograph and things. Footprint, two person and step one have seen footprint. So how do you distinguish who footprint is there or who fingerprint is there? So it make it complicated, it make it difficult. So I just appeal you. Eh? So our Liberian people, the huge crowd, we need to stop it. If we stop this thing, I mean, the police people, they are not, we are all human beings. We are not infallible. Let me admit, we are not infallible. We are human beings who make error. The end of the person, even the doctor that says something that they make error. If you want us to do a good job, I'm speaking because I'm a law enforcement officer, so otherwise say we.
Yeah, I know the background from which you speak.
So I'm speaking as a law enforcement officer. Please give us that opportunity. Don't run on the crime scene. Don't run when you see something like the house is burning. We don't even know the circumstance of the house. We appreciate when you want to come to the place. I understand the
Fire service.
the fire service, but let them do their work. I understand because the little battle, maybe that battle that you test, that could lead us to arrest if somebody burn their house. Let them the city, the capital building burning. My feeling is for us to have. Oh, I mean, I will come back to you. Something just came to my mind. We all will label the law enforcement, Tubman police, Togo police, Joe police. Eh? So anybody that here already now it become Boka police, it was Jovia police. So anytime somebody can, because the implementation or the understanding, anytime there's a new administration, that person always been labeled as the Joe police. Eh?
Sure.
Eh?
That's the Liberian context.
That's thank you. But this thing we can erase that mentality and we begin to trust the police. And what I would recommend.
But it also boils on building
Yeah.
a strong community police relationship.
Exactly. Let's look at the Capitol building burning. There was a lot of missteps. But now, if we want to have the integrity, that's what I just talked about Boka police now, because they are labeled Boka police. For us to have the integrity of the investigation, let the Excellency Joseph Newman Boka should appoint an independent body to do the investigation. Because right now,
That's a recommendation.
that's my recommendation. That's my personal recommendation.
Why you think so?
Because the security, the security had a repetition and say, oh, that Boka
I mean,
police. So,
perceive.
yeah. So the Boka police, so the Boka security. So no matter, even if they have all the experts in the world,
do independent.
So the police can go there and do the investigation, but it will be tainted because you know what? Police, about administration police. But if we get an independent body, where we're composed of different types of people, and we got professional people here. We got lawyers, we got former police directors, we got former NSA directors,
We got forensic.
forensic people here. The go back. 1982, when the first time the Minister of Finance got burned, I was just what 19, 20 years old individual, what if in America, in Texas, to study, answer investigations. And when we came by the Ministry of Finance got burned,
Well, fresh.
yeah, first a big cap for me to take on a huge assignment. So I've been around for a little bit, at least I got a little experience, I've been doing it. So it's not anything strange to me. And we did an investigation. The recommendation was made to the government. They decide what they wanted to do. It's my responsibility. It's our responsibility. But here's the thing. In the case, the police are doing the investigation. They can do their own investigation.
Independent
The,
body.
the independent body needs to be appointed by the president or by the Minister of Justice through the recommendation to the president for them to put that institution together. And let's take our time and then do the investigation. Yeah, what I'm saying, my brother. Because if the law enforcement or the police department will come tomorrow and say, we don't find no crimes committed, maybe it was because of electrical failure. Look what happened through the 2006, the executive mansion got burned, the report, what they say, the recommendation. So these are some of the things, some of the thinking we go back and look at statistics and look at analysis, how to come up with these things. So these are things some of we want to recommend. Do the best we can for our country. It's our country, regardless. We got to build it. We all humans are responsible.
It'll be our own country.
I'll be our own country. We can go America, India, and do this thing. But you know what? We have to do it ourselves.
So I've talked about all of those security matters. So I want to narrow it down now to how does security impact the economy?
Great. Stability, stability, stability. Because you see, when the security is strong, investor come. You can go to bed and sleep and you want to bring up money into the country. If the security is not strong, there was a blue audit last time. What happened in Tingo Village?
Mhm.
Hmm?
There's this
Yeah, Tingo Village, where the investor came,
okay,
where
okay,
where they went to the hotel,
okay.
and I think two police officers were implicated in that, and raid, and all this thing. So this thing gave out the black eyes, eh, to the country, because an investor want to come, and when they read the newspaper, and maybe it might be
You scare them away.
maybe it might be one incident, but the person read the newspaper and say, "Wow, yeah, so going to the hotel, eh? And that hotel was involved. Somebody went and robbed the investor that went to it. What 20,000 or some $100,000? I can't remember exactly.
Since the Civil War ended, our country or governments that has taken over have been struggling to really have a very powerful, strong security, like you said. From your own security background, with a wealth of experience, not just in Liberia, but in the United States and other international organizations, how do we change the narrative in making sure that we push our security in a very push it in the right direction to ensure that we can rebuild investment confidence, rebuild the issue of trust internationally, diplomatic trust, making sure that our country can have the kind of reputation it needs in the international world.
Good question. We can do it step by step, gradually. If I was the IG today, what would be my next 6 years of plan? By 2030 ends, or the immigration, or and let's say they can do their recording, they can do their military recording, they can do their recruit based upon the intelligence.
Yeah.
They're not like a police or immigration or fire service. So what we can do is we can do a projection. Now we got to create a system. Say let's say 5 years from 2 years from now, the next recruit that want to go on a police academy, right? at least you must get her 66 credit from the renowned university and college. So that's 66. Guess what? That means you already have an associate degree. Forget about whether you major in criminal justice, accounting, whatever you want to do. But at least you will get a renowned, right? 66 credit. So by the time these people are coming, the other people will be for retired. So within the next 10 years, you see a college graduate or college student will be able to have a professional institution. So we are migrating from high school. So now you look at it, and somebody go on your website, and you look at it like for a police, for example, and we'll have maybe I don't know the strength of the police now, maybe two or 3,000 law enforcement. But don't forget that if you get 3,000 law enforcement, they can also surveillance employees. Maybe out of no, that informal. Actually, that really went to the police academy, graduated from the police academy. But sometimes you got a radio operator, you got mechanic. These are all employees. They are surveillance employees that work with the police, but they are not really a police officer. Okay. So there's a difference. So maybe you got 3,000 police officers, but out of 3,000, maybe there are 2,000 police officers you actually. Active. But yeah, let me make this. One of the things I know we're coming close. One of the things is that in service is important. In service, that in service after 3 or 4 months, some of the people who have graduated from the police academy, they send them where they come get him. That's the end part of the you send them way to Barcon or you send them to my home. We enjoy.
You can still rotate them.
No, yeah, exactly. So you have to do it in service because that man who graduated from the police academy 2 years ago, there's a new development have come. So you have to bring him. Say, listen, we got to do retraining. We do. Be able to carry my firearm every 18 months. I got to go back on the firearm to be certified to carry arm. Every 18 months I have to renew. Second thing I want to do, every police officer or law enforcement officer should be trained at CPI.
That is CPI. Or certified.
So we have to do these things, but people have to do it. When you get on the crime scene, somebody is shot, they're not trained for first aid. You need to be trained. Our police officers to be trained. If they're doing academy, that's great. But all these things, that's part of it. So we have to work with these people. How do we integrate them into the community? And you see, the performance of the police that also bring some repetition to us.
You are taking leave of being in real life of late.
Oh no, since I came out, not been there.
Because that's one of the focus points. If you went there to
good. The last time I was here, the red lights, we need to change it.
How do we do that?
Thank you. It's the responsibility of our national government. Like I said, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time before it will happen. To a necessary. Don't forget about, okay, I was to a necessary, but there's a car that was using heartbreak, and it will fly into people in that place. So we need to change the whole road system. So this thing, the accident going to happen one day. Knock on wood, I hope it's not going to happen. But there's human error.
Yeah, just looking at the possibility.
Thank you.
Or some of the danger that
somebody will get mad one day. Who thought that the Capitol building was going to catch on fire? Somebody will get mad one day and step on that, step on the pedal, and jump like the people.
No, that's true. That's true. That's a very good.
So in law enforcement, you always anticipate the unknown, the one that you already know, but you can deal with it. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So you always anticipate the new. Suppose this happen, what's gonna happen? It's gonna happen one day, and I'm not gonna move.
But you also worry that police officers are only assigned mostly in Monrovia. All of counties, police there are limited, and most of the time We understand that when police officers are assigned those countries, they leave and come back to Monrovia. What do you think could be some of the appropriate measure that we put into place to ensure that we maintain our police officer in the countries?
Create incentive. The same incentive that the policemen have here in Monrovia, editors are incentive. Create a
Well, you don't have traffic code there. You don't have traffic police. And most of the guys come right to red light and then just and when they see them involved.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Create a scene incentive. I mean, I'm not saying,
Mhm.
but look, the scene incentive, the man who in BMW, for example,
Mhm.
where there's no car road, make it make it make it accessible so that she or he will feel the same opportunity that they have in Monrovia in the Central for Women. It's the same thing. Look, well, the police today it has changed. If you go to the industrial world, even if there's a two police officer in a town, hmm, the same opportunity that in that central city,
Mhm.
it's the same thing. The crime scene investigation, the same forensic, the crime scene kit, everything that you want to that police station, even though they might have a 3 or 4 police officers there, everything that you need in a town that have a 4 police officer is the same thing as the central police department. So, because you know what,
Mhm.
you don't want to disfranchise the other police departments so that it will be if
They'll
if
feel
she or
they'll
yeah,
feel that they are not valued.
thank you. If she or he is arrested or that crime is already individual is arrested, that individual will have the full due process of law, and because if we don't have, there will be no excuses. Yes, so,
So, Mr. Jerry Barcon is a security expert. He's been working with so many institutions. He worked with the United States government, Homeland Security. But then he came from Liberia as a security personnel, worked with the United Nations. He had been providing that security uh, expert opinion to that institution around the world. He's back in Liberia, providing his own expert opinion on the Liberian security sector. Mr. Barcon, it's a pleasure talking to you, sir.
thank you. I'm glad to be back home. This is my home. America is my adopted home. I started here. Like I always say, if I be rich, thank God the blessing. The first thing that the Liberian people did for me was they gave me police uniform to wear uniform. That's why I started my career. The I won a police academy. From the police academy, I was able to have the opportunity. The government have been nice to me. They were nice to me. Yeah, I don't go on Liberian skies. Don't get me
So
wrong.
if you had an opportunity to serve today, if you're provided an opportunity to serve your country, since in fact the country did what the country did for you, will you be willing to serve your country?
When the president call you, you are available. That's why the president. When the president say, "I want you to come and serve your country," who am I? Hmm?
You are just seven.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure
When
talking
the
to you,
president
Mr.
call you and
Barcon.
say, "I need you," you are 7. We all, as a citizen of the nation, when the president call you and say, "I want you to be part of my administration," let me close by saying this:
Mhm.
if you serve under the president, when he's successful, you get credit.
Sure.
When when you serve under the administration of the president, it's your responsibility to make sure whatever assignment they give to you, if they ask you to be a janitor, be a good janitor, so that you say, "What? Jerry Barcon, he's the one that's taking care of the building." So it's our responsibility. It's our duty to make sure that we serve our country very well. It's not about position. It's not about money. I know we got to feed our family, but it's our responsibility to serve our country. So if the president call me tonight or tomorrow and say, "Jerry, I want you to help or to come save my ministry," who am I? I'm not going to deny and say, "Mr. President." No, let me stay. I want to describe what I say.
It's a pleasure having you, Mr. Barcon. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you,
Good to
sir.
talk to you. You just listened to a special interview here on Liberia Public Radio. We have with us a very professional and expert law enforcement personnel. He has served for so long in the field in the United States, provide security there, served in Liberia before prior to the civil conflict, and then was sent to the United Nations by the Liberian government. Today, he has played a role and he's back in Liberia. Now it left for the government to say, these are people we can't own. It left for the government to say, these are people that can provide direction for our national security, for our national security sector. My name is Joseph Sale on this program. Thank you so much.
We don't only have a limited audience, limited to people who have data and have access to the internet, right? Now we're on radio, so we've expanded the pool of listeners, and because we in LPR.
From the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. We have been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we
From the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. We have been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wangarilanga. I am a finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
It's the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful